Hello you guys, Practice here, and I'm going to be playing some Space Engine. So, I've had a little bit of a, not really hectic morning, but yeah, last night I was going to record an episode, but I mean, I would have just been tired and groggy and talking like this and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, pretty much got interrupted. There was something going on outside, out of like a neighborhood away or something like that, a few blocks away. There was a like police helicopter and shit out there, so I mean, somebody did something bad. So yeah, that kind of interrupted my recording. But I did find two galaxies that look exactly like the Milky Way, so that was pretty cool. I was just surfing around and I just stumbled across those on accident. I was like, oh wait, looks like textures are reused. These are just generated or something. But here we are in the Milky Way, and I have quite a few requests here. Yeah, got a lot of requests here. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit late on this, but what that did allow for is like a lot more suggestions to go through. So I do have a lot of requests. And yeah, just continuing on my life story, basically, I woke up this morning because I just fell asleep abruptly last night, and I woke up this morning and I was wearing my glasses. Well, it turned out, yeah, my glasses were broken. I slept with my glasses on, lenses popped out, and fuck. So I need to call my optometrist and get that all sorted out, see if I can get those repaired and all that. And what sucks is I don't really have the money to get those repaired, so I mean I don't know how I'm gonna manage to get that done, but yeah, I'm currently using a backup pair that is not my prescription, so I can't really see the best. And yeah, that sucks. Anyone, any of my viewers who wear glasses, you know the pain. But let's go ahead and get started. So we have one from. Let me scroll down to yesterday's video. Um, Arthur Renato BB mentions, what do I think of the status on the development of 081? I heard there's going to be a lot of cool things in it. Cannot wait to actually see it. I have not actually looked up like any full like dev blogs or anything like that because they're kind of hard to find. I went to the Space Engine website looking for it, and the only thing I could really find is like not very useful resources on the forum. So if somebody can give me a direct dev blog or like a blog post or a change log or anything like that, or just something, you know, with kind of everything thrown together, like all in one topic, that would be great. I can't seem to find that myself. But yeah, let's get started with the first request. We got one from Quinn Alexander. He wants me to visit a pink Titan with life. It is a random star, and let's go ahead and get this loaded in. Hopefully they fix this problem where I can't seem to copy paste into the game. He. Hopefully he fixes the problem. Okay, that took me forever to type out because every time I type in a capital letter in like the search thing, sometimes it'll just spontaneously, I don't know, just send me back. It's kind of annoying. So B8, pink planet with life. Life is marine and terrestrial, so we should be able to see it. And wow, that is a big salt lake or something. It's a frozen titan, so that might be just an ice plane. I don't really know. What is this? That could just be the remnant from a crater, like an asteroid collision. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom out here. Okay, so we do have patches with some kind of life texture there, something organic, and a lot of patches. In fact, it's actually kind of making hills and everything. Very cool. By making hills, I don't mean the life is making hills, but it's just generating that way. So everything that has like a purple patch is actually kind of elevated from the ice. So that leads me to suggest this is some kind of frozen ocean or lake, maybe? That's possibly what this is. Probably created by like a crater or something like that. We have another one over here. Very interesting. Something big must have had to like hit this planet to make something that big. Because that's not the way an ocean would naturally generate, I don't think. So, oh wow, there's another one down here, and then this is looking a little bit more like a traditional like lake or sea or ocean or something like that. So, very interesting. Let's check out the atmosphere, which consists of mostly nitrogen and argon. Not the type of life that would survive on Earth, and we certainly would not survive on this planet. We can see the parent star over there, and it's lovely kind of orange. Is that orange? Yeah, we have orange rings in the orbiting this planet, and we can see the shadow of the star right there, which is wait a minute. We see the shadow of a star right there. That's... Oh, okay, yeah, right. This is a multi-star system, so it's illuminated from both sides. Which means if I fly over to this side, I should be able to... Yeah, I can actually kind of see pretty well. Very interesting. So we have a shadow from the planet being casted by its nearest star, which is over there. Yes, over there. Wasn't there a star up there or something? I don't really know. Oh, yeah, there is a star up there. We have a star over there, and then I think... Or is that the same star? I can't really tell. I'm lost. Oh, and a star right there. So we have 3 stars? Let's zoom out. 1, 2... Or not. Maybe I was just looking at the same star. There's a star there. And a star over there. Okay, so I'm correct. It looks like just 2 stars. I'm gonna stop messing with that. We have a moon here, which is orange. It is a Selena, but it has the planet reflecting on it, making it really, really bright. And if we go to one side of it, we might be able to see like a little, small portion of night sky. This is a really detailed planet, but yeah, the crater suggests something big collided into it, which would probably explain these rings if I were to like kind of put a history to this planet. These rings possibly being like created by a large asteroid collision, or maybe a like small dwarf planet or something like that. Like a large asteroid or a small dwarf planet collided into this planet right here, but it has multiple collisions, so I mean, something could have been casted off, like ejected out, and then orbited around and collided over here, for example, and yeah, very interesting. That might like explain its ring system, and might explain this little guy over here. Hello, little tiny frozen asteroid. Very cool planet. Of course, it's randomly generated, but it's kind of cool just to apply a little bit of a history to it. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out the next suggestion. Okay, so I got one from Derp Sauce Gaming. He wants me to visit a random star and says, go to its moons. The 3rd planet from this random star. Let me get this punched in. Okay, so this one I can copy paste, but the previous one I couldn't. Very odd. Okay, let's go ahead and fly over to it. It is a warm gas giant. So, I don't know which one I'm actually looking at here. It would be this one. go ahead and check out its moon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually found one of these in a recent video by myself. You start out, I guess, at the same system somebody was mentioning. Everyone starts out at that same system with the gas giant moon. And yeah, I actually found one of those naturally next to the Carina Nebula, I believe. And I made a video of me like messing with field of view that was uploaded like 2 nights ago or something like that. And yeah, I find that very interesting, like little gas giant moons. This one's just a scorched desert over here. But we have another gas giant moon right over here. Oh, wow, that's actually... What? Oh, okay, I didn't double tap G. I thought I was looking at the moon for a second. And we have a nice blue one here with a very bright aurora. Probably because I have the aurora brightness turned up, but we're not going to mention that. You can see that the gas giant is reflecting nicely onto this gas giant over here. I assume it's a big light reflection fest over here because these gas giants are huge and they are bright. And there's a parenting star, which happens to be a white main sequence star. Very cool system. Okay, you guys are going to have to pardon my quiet audio. I'm going to have to edit this in post, but I just boosted my gain on my microphone. I guess when I was cleaning my computer, I didn't have my microphone plugged in, and it reset the audio values I had set, so I need to mess with that. Probably a mistake to boost it in the middle of the video. Oh well. We have another one from Derp Sauce Game, and he wants me to visit NGC 224, so let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, and that is this galaxy? Wait. You want me to visit Andromeda? I visited Andromeda. I have an entire special on Andromeda. I've done a lot of videos on Andromeda. It's fancy, it's blue, and it's an awesome looking galaxy. I have to say, it's probably one of my favorite galaxies. There's Triangulum right there in the background, another spiral galaxy neighboring us, and it is right next to Andromeda. It's quite a bit smaller than our galaxies, though. Andromeda is actually quite a bit bigger than the Milky Way. The Milky Way is considered actually a very, very large galaxy. When you go to pretty much any other galaxy here, I mean, you're going to find something that's actually pretty small, like this irregular galaxy here. This is actually very small. And it looks almost like a nebula. But, yeah, this is a galaxy here. And, one thing I actually did want to show you guys, I was going to make like an independent video on this, but I'm not going to bother with that, is if I go to the Milky Way. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the Milky Way. And let me increase the magnitude. You could actually find some things that you could hardly see without actually boosting the magnitude. And that is all these small little clusters way outside the Milky Way. These are just globular clusters, but these would technically, I do believe, be considered basically dwarf galaxies. This right here, this is actually considered a galaxy, hovering right above our Milky Way. So very cool, very small, but there is a lot of stars, so it is actually very dense. The only stars you're seeing right now are just the bright ones. If I increase the magnitude, you'd be able to see all the noise and smaller stars inside of it. But as I fly through, you can see that there's actually a lot of stars. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I'm recording this at 1080p 60 FPS. I recorded yesterday's video at that frame rate too. The one I did last night, where I was showing off the galaxies that reuse the same Milky Way texture. Yeah, I figure I might as well just record 1080p 60 FPS for now on. It's kind of the best of both worlds. Get the 1080p resolution with the 60 FPS frame rate. It will take me longer to edit these, but I kind of figure if it's going to lead to like a kind of better production value of the videos, then It's something I'll spend a little bit of extra time on. It's gonna probably double my render times. Probably take me like an hour and 30 minutes to render out these videos. But screw it, might as well just record them at this frame rate. Because, I mean, it's not like I have anything better to do, really. But yeah, you could see all the nebulas and stuff. In fact, it looks like Christmas lights, and they're all red and green and all that. And, yeah, very cool. You could actually see all the small things that are just kind of floating right outside of the Milky Way galaxy. So, that would make this, I mean, I guess technically our nearest galaxy, maybe? I'm not too sure. Very cool. Okay, so, Shadow Elzazel. Sorry, I still can't pronounce that name. You're 8 years old and you are watching Space Engine videos. Very good use of your time. That is a lot better. You're watching a lot better content than you could be watching on YouTube. Not that I'm judging or anything, but I mean, yeah, that's awesome. 8 years old and interested in space videos. Very cool. Okay, so let's move on to our next suggestion, and that is from Ian07. He actually has 3 for us here. He says he has found 3 different stars that were extremely close to being the biggest. He is mentioning, or this is a response to my quest for Big Bertha, the biggest star that we can come across. I'm assuming the limitation is probably, so we got like 166 astronomical units so far. That is the biggest one that I found, or not that I found, but that I've found on like Google, that anyone that I'm aware of has actually found and actually posted and documented. But yeah, I'm wondering if like 200 would be like the very max size you could possibly find in the game. I know there are values and seeding and all that that would actually probably set a limitation on how big the stars could actually get in the game. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and check this one out. Okay, so we have, let me click on it. There we go. A diameter of 164 astronomical units. I'm going to bring up my list here. If I go over to this bookmark thing. Okay, this is where I was messing with the field of view and stuff. I actually found some that were 164. Here you go. Here's another one that is 164 astronomical units. If you can read that text there, let's go ahead and pay a visit to it. Oh yeah, very cool find. I found a lot of them that were coming really close, but 165 was the biggest one I found. And I was very bothered by that because, I mean, it was so close. So close to being that, like, 166 or 167 that would have beat out the previous record, but I just can't do it. I actually bothered to search since then, but I do plan to definitely spend like an hour or two searching again. I really want to find something bigger. Okay, so we have another star here. This one's suggested by Ian07. Let's go ahead and check it out. (163). Very good. What galaxy am I in? Probably just a randomly generated one. It is an elliptical galaxy, though. You can actually see the center cluster from here, so it must not be that too big. Oh yeah, no, this is actually a documented galaxy. It's not a randomly generated one. Very cool. And the third one, which I might have selected this one previously. Let me check the history here. No, this is not the one I selected previously. Okay, so this is the third one from Ian. Oh, same galaxy. And this one is coming in at 162 astronomical units. Very cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and go back through my history, or not history, the ones that I've... Oh yeah, I actually wanted to show off this planet. This was actually going to be... Yeah, I told myself this would be in the next one. We have a very, very huge star here. And check this out. Okay, so the star is 89 astronomical units. I mean, it's not... Yeah, it's huge, but I mean, it's not as big as they get. But I found Hell 2.0. It doesn't have the black clouds, sadly. But we got these lovely red rings here, orbiting around this monster over here. And if I zoom in, I mean, it's got the dense, not actually dense, but red atmosphere with the red moon over there. So, I mean, this is Hell 2.0. If you guys see my other video where I found Hell, which was a very cool looking galaxy, or not galaxy, planet. Yeah, we got a volcano just spewing lava over here. Active volcano, and As you can tell, the texture is a nice desert, so I mean, very awesome planet. And if you look at the temperature, I didn't select the right planet. There it is. Yeah, it's 24 degrees, so I mean, it's actually Earth-like temperature. It's a lovely looking Terra, nice and detailed. Got like kind of, I guess that would be the edge of that'd be like a shoreline or something like that, possibly. Maybe. I don't know what that is. I would think a shoreline. Possibly a shoreline. And those are like the remnants of a river. But really nice and detailed. Got some lovely hills here. Yep. And it's orbiting around that. That's your that's the sunrise you see every day. If you want to visit this planet, the ID is up in the top left there. This is a really awesome planet I just came across while looking for the stars and stuff. I just saw this as the thumbnail. I was like, oh my god, I have to visit that. And I am glad I did. Beautiful planet. Anyways, let's go back to the little flag icon here. The locations. And here's another one that I found was 164. So it's really cold for a star anyways. And yeah, this one should be 164. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Got a 163 here. I think, no. One of these had a black hole around it. I might have labeled it black hole. Oh yeah, a few of these did have black holes. And I started logging them once I started hitting like 145, and I have 150 here, 161, another 151, 156. So I mean, I have a lot here. Yeah, my biggest one was this one at 165. And it does actually, I don't know if I mentioned this before, it does have a black hole here. I might have mentioned that. But, yeah, very cool. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion. I said I would shout out people if they find like a bigger star than mine. Well, I don't know. I'll shout out pretty much anyone who suggests an ID to me in my comments. Okay, so we have a lot from AAV, so let's go ahead and check out all these. Who's AAV? Okay, never mind. Huh, must be a new viewer, I think. Let me scroll through. Are you a new viewer? I could be wrong. Yeah, you might be a newer subscriber. Mention down in the comments if you are. And if you are, welcome. Okay, so you have, let me count this, 7. You have 7 suggestions, so let's go ahead and check this out. We have a random star here. Let's go ahead and pay a visit to it. Okay, this one's quite far out, and here it is. It looks like a binary system, I do believe. And it is a brown dwarf orbiting a red dwarf. So, it's failed to become a red dwarf. Actually, it looks like it's pretty borderline on becoming that. It actually looks like it's a relatively hot star getting ready to... No, I mean, yeah, it's basically borderline, about to become a star. And we have a bunch of dim planets orbiting. Actually, I think... pretty far. No, they're pretty close. Pretty close to these two planets or stars here. This one should be illuminated from 2 different angles. Maybe? No, not really. We have a disco world here with our lovely disco craters and a couple of gas giants. So I love brown dwarfs. I do actually come across them pretty commonly. I guess technically they would probably be like borderline as common. Red dwarfs are like the most common stars in our galaxy, for example. So I assume something like this would be pretty common. We just can't really see them because, I mean, they're pretty dim. So, I mean, they're hard to actually spot. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next ID again from AAV. All the next IDs are going to be from AAV because it looks like he is the last person to suggest IDs for this video. So we have a star here. Is there anything? Okay, so we have a lot of planets orbiting around this. It is a red dwarf. And we have a scorched desert over here. Orbiting relatively close. It is tidally locked. We do not have a storm, probably because there might not be... Actually, there is a pretty dense atmosphere. And it does contain water and CO2, so... Very interesting not to actually see a giant storm here. Oh, damn it. At some point, I decided to turn off clouds. Well, no wonder why things looked kind of boring. When the hell did I turn off clouds? That couldn't have been recently. Maybe it was. Now I feel like an idiot. Well, this is tidally locked and there's a huge storm. Oops, that's not what I meant to click. Okay, let's go ahead and check out this ice world here because it looks like it's going to be... Ooh, wow. That is a very cool looking ice world right there. Look at that hurricane. That's an awesome looking storm. I don't think I've actually seen one look, I don't know, this badass before. A lot of interesting details in it, and yeah, this one's really awesome looking. This is an ice world, so I mean, this area would probably be like a lower altitude or thawed a little bit more. There'd be like a sea here, possibly on the surface. Maybe. It is negative 107 degrees, but it is tidally locked. So it's constantly receiving sunlight on this side of the planet. So this would possibly be thawed, but SpaceEngine does not actually render that. We have a cold gas giant over here, which looks like it has a lovely detailed layer. It actually looks like this glass of cider I set down next to my keyboard, and I'm kind of just waiting on it to cool down. And then when I finish recording this video, I'm going to drink it. Made some homemade cider this morning, boiled some concentrated apple juice, mixed it in with some water, a little bit of those like store-bought cider packages, and then some like ground cinnamon stuff. And yeah, felt like making homemade cider. Cold day. We have a frozen ice world over here. Cotton candy planet, I would say. Got this pink and blue lining going through and a kind of pink atmosphere, as you can see. And it's got this, which is a desert. Yeah, warm desert sitting next to it, which also kind of resembles it in atmosphere. But as you may notice, this gas giant and this desert might actually be a dual planetary system. I don't think that's actually a moon, because these are actually relatively the same size, but this is going to have less density than this, so maybe, just maybe, they are in fact orbiting around each other. So, very cool. Yeah, very cool. They're not quite doing the, they're not quite dancing around each other, but if I hit play, you could actually see how these two will orbit. Very cool little system. Good suggestion. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I might want to pause the game or else things are going to spaz out a little bit. So let's go ahead and see if I can paste this in. I certainly can. And 8.5. Does that mean I'm going to a moon? It looks like I'm at a moon. Am I at a moon? I am at a moon. So this does have life. It is unicellular, and it is terrestrial life, so we should be able to see the texture for it. It looks like we have a beige-colored moon orbiting around a coffee planet, and let's go ahead and zoom in and see what we can see. Actually, that's more of a tea planet than a coffee planet. And it looks like we have the dry grass, like kind of... Is that dry grass, or would that be like pine needles or something? It looks like dry grass. And we have a relatively thick atmosphere. I can't really see. I can see a couple stars. And there's the parenting star there, illuminating kind of small in the sky. And we have a beautiful cloud layer. And a kind of nice fog layer, just kind of making those mountains get a nice depth to them. And they are really detailed and cool looking mountains. Very awesome. And we have the same texture here, but it's kind of purplish. Check that out. That is a really nice looking mountain range. That one actually rendered out really nicely. And we have even more just all around here. And if I look in the right direction, maybe, just maybe. If I land over here, we can see our lovely parenting gas giant along with its other moons. So, very cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next planet. You know, I do need a thumbnail for this video. Let me just do that, get that off my screen, click that, and let that fade out, and now we got a thumbnail. Okay, next planet. So this one, oh, not loading. Oh, there we go. There's the extra space. We have a, looks like Ice World. Yes, Frozen Ice World, and we got the kind of bright bluish disco craters. So I guess I do render in a different color. Nah, that's white. That's definitely white. Is there an atmosphere here? If there is, it's not very thick. And we have a parenting star. We are next to the Orion Nebula and the Barnard's Loop. And what is this? The Cone Nebula. And in our night sky, it looks like we have a purple ice world. Is that a moon? Oh, it must be a different moon. Wait a minute. What's this? Another nebula. Let's zoom into that one. Huh. Appeared to have crashed the game. I am gonna have to edit this, ain't I? Not if I keep talking. Okay, got it loaded back in. Yeah, let's get rid of that extra space and head back over there. Yeah, zooming in just crashed my game spontaneously. And pretty close to home. Okay, so where is our parent? Is there a parent? Or is this a... I'm zooming in on this center point here. So maybe this is a dual planetary system, kind of like Pluto and its moons. Let's hit play. Actually, let's check out the orbits. Very interesting. These are orbiting around each other. The orbital axis is outside, and the point in which these two are orbiting, like their center mass here, is actually external of the planet. So this would technically... I think this would actually be a dual dwarf system. I don't think these are... let's see. Yeah, these are pretty small. This one's actually relatively big. This one's pretty small, though, so I mean, that would be... I guess I would technically classify that as a moon. If this is a planet, and this is like a dwarf planet, this would probably be a moon, kind of like how ours is considered. Very interesting little system. Where's the parent star? Over there. And it looks like we actually have quite a bit in this system. Let's go ahead and click on this star and see what else we have orbiting around here. It looks like we have a beautiful blue gas giant here. Yes, very blue. There we go. Cloud layer's back on. Much better. And yeah, it's kind of that beige and blue fluorescent color, but we have some nice thick rings and a lot of moons. But over here, I don't know if this... Oh no, is this the same system? No, this is not the same system. It looks like we have some gray rings here. Very cool looking. And this one actually has a lot of moons around it. Let's go ahead and load this in and see what type of moons. Looks like a couple ice worlds and a bunch of Selenas. So let's go ahead and zoom into this and let's see what we can spot. I don't know if this is what you actually wanted me to visit, but very cool. Looks like we have a thin atmosphere, and there's one of our many moons, and there's a parenting star. Actually, we have two moons in our sky currently. Very awesome. Are these eclipsing at all? Don't appear to be. No. This one might be eclipsing the ring. No, not that I can tell. Very cool suggestion. This next one, he says, is around a white dwarf. So let's go ahead and pay a visit to this. Again, this is AAV who suggested these planets. Okay, so we're actually... Either that white dwarf is really, really bright, or we are actually really, really close. It is a tidally locked planet with terrestrial life. And as you see there, we have kind of a... I want to say that it's a moss texture. It looks like moss on a rock or something like that. Oh, wait, is that a cliff? Oh, yeah, we're on... Oh, this is... Oh, this is a mountain range with really cool erosion effect. This actually looks like it generated really nicely. As you can tell, you have some erosion. Looks like water was flowing down this at some point. Or it possibly just rains a lot under the storm. Not too sure. The storm is relatively big. It doesn't cover the entire hemisphere of the planet. It does actually cut off at a point. And this, he says, is a white dwarf. Does not appear to have an accretion disk, but that is certainly a white dwarf. And it is burning at 55,000 degrees Celsius, so I mean, it's a really hot white dwarf, but eventually it'll slowly fade out and cool down and turn into a black dwarf over trillions and trillions of years. And there is a lot of... Whoa. Okay. That's a lot of planets orbiting this white dwarf. Yeah, look at this list. Really cool. If you want to visit this system, the ID is up in the top left. Okay, so we have a temperate terra with life, and the ESI is 92% similarity to Earth. These lakes look like they were possibly created by collisions or something, not actually naturally created or overtaking the landscape. So it doesn't look like we have any seas. This is a primarily, I would say, land planet, but yeah, all the hemispheres look like they're mostly consisted of just basically land. The atmospheric composition is CO2, oxygen, and nitrogen. So this looks like it would be kind of a protoplanet, which I'm seeing some textures here I don't think I've seen before. You got like, what would you say this is? Moss or the top of trees maybe? Looks like the top of a dense jungle maybe, like a satellite image of that. And over here looks like it would be like trees in a desert plain, like a savanna or something like that. That's kind of what that looks like. And it looks like we have a lot of it. And this actually looks like it's a relatively big world, too. The diameter is 14,000 kilometers, so let's go ahead and load up Earth and let's compare. Yes, this is actually a decent margin bigger than our planet, so very cool. And it looks like we have ice caps here, possibly consisting of CO2 or maybe water. Not too sure. I mean, imagine if it was CO2, this would be much colder. Very interesting. There is a lot of oxygen in the atmosphere, so we would actually probably be able to survive here. The temperature is 22 degrees Celsius, but the greenhouse effect is not actually too strong, which means this would actually be a very cold planet. So it's like a proto-Earth, but very cold. And we have a snow-covered volcano. Very cool. Okay, smallest galaxy you have found. Let's go ahead and pay a visit to that. Yeah, that's pretty small. The diameter is 452 light years. If I actually go back to the Milky Way, I did show it earlier in the video. There was a small sub-galaxy just kind of floating above the Milky Way. Let's see if we can get that to load in. I'm not seeing it immediately. Maybe that is it. Ah, yes, this is it. Okay, so this has a diameter of 6,000 light years. So I think the one you suggested is actually smaller. Yeah, okay. So that galaxy you found is actually really small. Very fine. Wait a minute, what was that we passed by visiting over here? What is this bright thing? Huh. Maybe this is a quasar. Or technically, as we're viewing it right now, a blazar? Because that is incredibly bright. I know this game does render out brighter galaxies. Yeah, that is incredibly bright, so that might be a blazar. But it renders light from like all directions, as you can see. If I'd imagine as viewed from our galaxy, this would be like a blazar or something, but I could be wrong. Very interesting. I did have one more request. One last one. Basically, I was asked to click on any red galaxy and visit that. Well, the reason why they're red is because they're actually red shifted, and they're actually very, very, very far from us. In fact, yeah, basically they're red shifted because they're actually moving away from us, and moving away from us at a very far distance. So as I zoom out more, if you keep your eyes focused on this red galaxy, you can see it become more and more red until it's eventually outside of our viewable spectrum. And as I keep zooming out, I'm moving as fast as I can, which is 1 galaxy per second. And you can see everything just starts to get a red shift. Until eventually, I will find the end of the observable universe. It takes a while. I'll get there eventually. Some year. Yep. So, I mean, you guys seen any good movies lately? Yeah, I realize every single one of these dots is a galaxy. These things are huge. In reality, we may never be able to travel across our own. You feeling insignificant yet? It's kind of depressing, isn't it? Yep, just keep going. Oh, hey, we found it. And as I slowly drift away from these final galaxies to the outer skirts of our observable universe, you can see they slowly fade to red until you have nothing in sight. Of course, if you're actually over here, there would just be many, many more galaxies, and it would do the same thing over and over again. And we're back. That is just the outside of our observable universe and the limits of what the game generates. Anyways, this is a pretty long episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Basically, I think it was kind of nice to actually just let the suggestions build up a little bit, so I can get a nice long episode rather than like a short 10-minute one or whatever. But no. If you guys like the video, leave it a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe. It really does help, and I will see you guys in the next one.